Hello, everybody. It is our brunch get together. For those of you who have decided to join me, happy Sunday. It is 11 a.m., September 20th, 2020. Thank you, everybody who has sent me messages. So we're going to be going through everything. We got a busy day today. So the first thing I want to do before we get started is I want to give a shout out to Erica. Erica, you and I have a very special relationship. She made me these beautiful, I don't even know what to call it. They're like salves and things for pain, and they smell incredible. This one's jasmine, frankincense, and myrrh. The one that I like the most, I think she's developing these. Maybe she'll sell them. I don't know. Maybe she can leave her information, but these are incredible. And it's a shea butter base with glycerin. But the number 4, I like soapy clean smells. I've already started using it. And it smells so clean. And it's got a little bit of, I think, eucalyptus in it. This is for pain. And the other thing that Erica was kind enough to give me, thank you, Holly, for that donation. Very kind of you. She gave me this. So, oh yes, because she knows I'm quarantining by myself. Oh God, that feels so good. This has really helped. So thank you, Erica. I believe I sent you a thank you note. If I didn't, I apologize. I try to be good about that. All right, welcome everybody. So like I said, we've got a couple things to go through. The first thing we're going to talk about, first off, let me greet everybody. Thank you, Larry Girl, who's going to be doing our moderating today. We really are grateful that she's taking time out of her day to help. Hello to Sylvia, Cindy, Sharon, Shari, Karen, Paul. See, I'm trying to step back so I look more professional rather than, let's see here, Charisse. Sarah, we said hi to. Happy Girl. S. Roger. Oh, Bad Boy Rob is here. We know he and I have a special relationship. I always go for the bad boys. Lena, Lisa, Marilyn. Okay. And the green light is here. A Park. Well, welcome to all of you. Hi, Lily. Hi, Merck, Dylan, Jennifer. Hello. There's a lot of us. Let's get started because we've got a lot of questions. People are very upset about RBG's passing. I did a meditation on RBG the last couple of days, and I would like to share it with you, but as is my way, the notes are over there I'm gonna have to go and get that, but talk amongst yourselves while I grab RBG's notes. Sorry about that. Thank you. It's the Whimsy Show. Everything has to be a tad bit disorganized because it is my nature. What can I tell you? I try to the best of my ability to be organized, but I've always been a little messy and a little bit disorganized. So thank you for your patience. So I did a meditation last night on RBG. And this is the first thing, as I meditated, I did a mindfulness meditation last night. I thought, what can I say about the life of this person? How can I, what do I imagine that she would say if she were alive today? And I heard myself say, we have to become a nation that raises up its citizens. That was something I really heard in the meditation, that we have to become a nation that raises up its citizens. And then I meditated on her quote about being a lady and how we have to take care of ourselves and rely only on yourself. And this idea of being a lady and a gentleman, a lady and a gentleman is about her business. She doesn't have time to gossip. Look, I have to practice what I preach. She doesn't have time to be checking out what her ex-boyfriend is up to on Facebook. We've all been there, you know. A person who is about their own business is a person that becomes a master. It's a person that becomes highly accomplished. It's a person that cannot help but be admired, because rather than being petty and wasting their time speaking ill of others, they are the maturest person in the room, and they're taking responsibility for their life, and that garners respect. It also gets a lot done. So I think what I heard in this meditation about RBG is that the feeling of helplessness, that we are helpless, that we need something outside of ourselves to save us. RBG has to save us. Biden has to save us. This person has to save us, is really not. First off, it portrays us as vulnerable persons that are at the mercy of the powers that be. And that's just not how the laws of the universe work. It's not how the laws of this planet work. The truth of the matter is that when we get our acts together and when we get about our business, which is what RBG was talking about, that is how you that's how you create change in the world. And we can't sit around waiting for somebody to save us. In terms of whether or not they're going to put somebody on the bench, I think that it's more important for them to manipulate Democrats and watch us get hysterical, because there's a sadomasochistic element to this as far as the Republicans are concerned. They love seeing us freak out. They love the emotional instability. A person who is strong, that doesn't freak out, that goes about their business, that gets their facts straight, is somebody that it's very difficult to manipulate somebody like that. So I think it's going to be very difficult for them to put somebody on the bench. I did a remote viewing a couple years ago, how many people would Trump be able to put on the bench? And I heard 2, he will not be able to put a 3rd on the bench. So we have 2 Republican senators, actually 3, I think, Grassley as well. So we have 3 Republican senators saying now that they will not approve, bring anybody in. So they're already at 50-50. So no, I don't think, look, I could be wrong. Something incredible could happen and the Republicans could get a little bit of good luck and be able to put somebody through, but it would be unlikely. It would be very, very unlikely that this would happen. But it would also be particularly bad for senators that are running in purple states, because this would seal the casket. It's almost like people like Chuck Schumer are almost saying to the Republicans, we double dare you. Go for it. Seal your fate, because if you put a 3rd person on the Supreme Court, you will probably not win a presidency for quite a bit of time, because Roe v. Wade, overturning Roe v. Wade, I think is only 35% of Americans that want that. So it's a losing battle. And they don't have a lot of time. It's not looking likely. Instead, it's looking like it could be used by the Republicans as a tool to manipulate people's emotions and to basically make us look crazy, which is more effective than actually doing it, if you're looking at it from the perspective of being a Republican strategist. So the message I got in the meditation of the spirit of RBG, how I imagine she would advice would be that she was always a lady. She sat at her desk, she did her homework. Be a lady, be a gentleman, take care of yourself. Don't be the voice that holds you back. That was the other message. Don't be the voice that holds you back. Are you telling yourself no before anybody else does? Or this idea of learned helplessness. So I'm reading quite a bit about child abuse lately. And The Body Keeps the Score is one of the books I'm reading. And they talk about this idea that when children are severely punished, even verbally punished, they will often feel helpless, like they don't know what to do because no matter what they do, they're being criticized. And so it sets the child up to learned helplessness, where they're afraid to do anything other than say, help me, help me, help me. I'm afraid to do anything myself because every time I do something, you criticize it. That's learned helplessness. So what I imagined RBG saying is, don't be the voice that holds you back. Take tentative steps towards your goal. If you get knocked down, do that accountant reckoning every night that we've talked about. Why did I get knocked down? How did I screw it up? How can I fix it? And just continue to do your part in creating a beautiful world. We all do our part. The other thing I heard was, this I actually heard in her voice, to be helpless is very unattractive. Like, it's very unattractive, ladies and gentlemen. Showing up at somebody's door helpless, it's not an attractive thing. So to the best of our ability, we have to help ourselves. Always be busy. This is another thing. From a homeopathic perspective, I know we have homeopaths that watch the channel. She would be the homeopathic constitutional remedy apis. I think we would all agree. She had inflammatory health challenges, right? But she had the bee energy. Homeopathics would say she was the worker bee, busy, 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 right? People that were her assistants who were, less than half her age couldn't keep up with her because she was the busy bee, about her business, busy, busy, busy. Yeah, so that is the remote meditation. Don't be afraid. It's probably not going to happen. What they're trying to do is more a psychological game. It would be very, very, look, it still could happen, but odds-wise, it's never happened before. And Republicans running for re-election in swing states do not want this. So it was also interesting when I did this meditation that I started feeling, as a senator, putting myself in the shoes of the Senate, and I'm a Republican running in a purple state. I started to think that Mitch McConnell might be a little bit crazy. That this game he's playing as a Republican moderate in a swing state, I couldn't help but be embarrassed and think that he had gone a little wacky. So those Republicans in swing states, it's going to be hard to convince them to bring in a conservative. There is a woman, she's devout Catholic, I can't remember her name. That's probably going to be his pick, but I doubt she'll get confirmed. All right. We're going to start a collective now. We'll be here for an hour. Does anybody have any quick questions or comments about the meditation? You probably all do, but I was blabbering. And yeah, Mitch McConnell, I think he's winding down. He's a very old person. Hi, House of Lenneman. Good to see you, and thank you for taking time to moderate. Hi, Noel. Thank you as well for joining us. Isn't it interesting that every time I go into a mindfulness meditation, and this is something I am a yenta, A yenta is a Yiddish term for the Jewish woman who's always pick. I want to know, so new? Are they still dating? Did he marry her? I mean, I have that side to me, and I just always have to, Whimsy, be about your business, be about your business. Sometimes saying that helps, sometimes it doesn't. All right. So, what's in the cards for us? People had asked about September 19th, and I had seen a drop in Biden's energy on the 19th. I believe that he probably got word that that she had been transferred to ICU, or she'd been transferred to he probably knew that he probably was notified that she was passing away. Evidently, she was surrounded by friends. It was Rosh Hashanah, which is our Jewish New Year's. The new moon, the start. It was traditionally the time when people would begin to hunker down and get ready for winter. All right, let's do a simple prayer. We're going to go in and give ourselves a general reading and see what we find. Sound good? We were getting a lot of smoke, but it rained. Thank you, everyone who prayed for rain. We did get rain. Baruch dayan ha'emet. Nachon. Nachon. Tzedeket. A tzaddik is male. Saint in Hebrew is tzaddik. Tzedeket is Hebrew, female. Saint. She died on Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, there's this idea. Rosh Hashanah has significance. All the Jewish holidays. Also Tisha B'Av. There's some significance to that date as well, which is the anniversary of when the temple was destroyed. All right, let's Shana Tova to everyone. May you have an easy fast if you're going to be fasting. All right, let's do a simple prayer. I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on this journey to make the best decisions for ourselves, for our families, for the planet, for the people that we love, and to help those we have strife with. And together we say, Amen. So this reading that I'm going to be doing is collective advice that's going to be collective about what we can do to help ourselves and the planet, and just check in on us to see how we're doing as a group. So it applies to you at the time you see the reading. That's the intention anyway. Where we are at collectively as a group, the base of the matter, in a situation of defense. I've talked about this card in the past. It's the Seven of Wands. It's the person who feels that they're being attacked from multiple sides, and then they are defending their position. Now, I've always used the Rider-Waite Seven of Wands as the defender of the land. If you look really closely at this card, the Seven of Wands, the reason why I call it the defender of the land is you can see that nice river, that nice stream there running through. He's trying to protect those waters that are being attacked. So it's always triggered thoughts of water protectors for me, people who protect the land. So there's a new beginning coming. You can see the karma card, right? We pull 12 cards in our Celtic cross if you're doing a whimsy spread. And that's because I've always felt like it needed 2 additional cards. The base, which is the summary of the reading, which is that we're entering into a time where the people in this group are becoming warriors. We're becoming environmental warriors. That's basically what's happened to the group. The karma of what is pushing through our business is that we are environmental warriors. What's pushing through karmically for us is that the past is dead. What was had to come to an end, and it did come to an end. So we're seeing the death of factory farms. We're seeing the death of fossil fuel. And instead, it's a very scary time, but it's also a beautiful time because it's a time of new beginnings for ourselves, for our planet, and we should not underestimate our potential. We think, well, I write this book. Who am I really going to help? I start a YouTube channel, and I donate a little money to plant some trees. I mean, who can I help? If we all do our part, we actually make a powerful impact. And particularly when we think about our legacy, like what are we leaving that people can look back and say, wow, Whimsy did that cool, weird YouTube channel. Oh, they raised a little money for charity. What can we do to help? But a Page of Wands is a new beginning. The past is dead. I'm trying to, I like, the one thing that I missed when I went vegetarian, you miss weird things. Canned tuna, right? I'm part of the change, right? But I will never eat tuna again. I had that experience, right? I'll never eat beef again. I had the experience. It was fun. But that's over now. So it's a new beginning. I will no longer be the person that I was in the past. So anyway, the free tuna, vegan tuna, tastes like cat food. It looks like cat food. It's got the gravy like cat food, and probably most of the byproducts of cat food minus the meat. But I mixed some of that mayo in with it. It wasn't too horrible, but I'm adjusting. So the new beginning. I always get this impression that we're actually entering into a period that's positive. The first card where we're at is the Six of Swords, which is to go out. We are steering the boat out of what potentially could be a rocky or a horrible situation. Somebody had asked me to comment on when the military was going to do something. Well, the military is doing something. They've revealed a couple of things. For starters, Florida might have gotten stolen. Georgia might have gotten stolen. They're looking at Michigan and Pennsylvania. So the military has talked about that, but Mathis, is that how you pronounce his name? And John Kelly have also come out and talked about this presidency. Thank you, Melissa. Very kind of you. And talked about the fact that that he was sleeping in his clothes, that the generals were sleeping in their clothes, thinking that we were coming this close to going to war with North Korea. So so they are beginning to speak out. But Six of Swords, we came very close to a rocky. I think that they know they can't win. I think that they know it's going to be next to impossible to get somebody on the Supreme Court. So the best thing is to create chaos and emotional instability in their opponent. And so if we really want to be about our business and stay focused, we can't be like the big mouth bass that they talk about that's always jumping for every sparkly object. And I think that that's the message. The sun is coming out. New information. They're going to dump a bunch of stuff. Remember when I said in September a bunch of stuff would be dumped? You can see the sun coming up. If you're talking about us in terms of our individual reading, we're actually headed towards a really positive place in our lives. Smoother waters, the sun coming up. Another thing that started to happen with the group is this idea of making things. Not just concern about our financial investments or lack of financial investments, but there's this real drive to actually produce things or make a difference. We get cards of industry, and we also get cards that have to do with boundaries. I think of Queen of Wands as the individual who sets the boundaries. She's an Aries or Leo. She's a fire sign. You can see the sunflower there. We've got nice sun imagery. But the other thing is that she sits with the Lion of Judah on the throne. So we've talked about Judah, what is the archetype, Yehudi, and it's an archetype that presents as both male and female in the Torah and the Tanakh. The head of the tribe, the lead judge, goes into battle. And you think of RBG as kind of being like this as well. That woman who really has her act together before she goes into battle. Coming out, look what we're coming out of. A lot of us in the group have come out of some difficult times. Health concerns, divorces, feelings of alienation and isolation, feelings of being desperate, feelings of hopelessness, right? So the past is gone, and what comes in the future is the King of Swords. The King of Swords and the King of Pentacles. These are two cards that have interesting archetypical, their relevance as archetypes is rather interesting. The King of Pentacles, like I said, is the businessman. He's also the hidden king who hides information. It can be, thank you, Anna. We're planting trees and we're feeding America this month. The 21st we'll be announcing how much money we raised. Some of that money will go towards taxes. Some will be going towards new equipment for the channel, and the rest is donated to charity, as is our way here on the channel. So this month, thank you. It's anti-hunger mostly and to trees, but it's up to you folks what you want to do with the money. Thank you, Christopher. That's very kind. All right, so we're going into a period, like I said, boundaries, fighting the fight, being about our business, starting entrepreneurship. New business ideas. King of Swords comes in. You know, this archetype expresses itself in different cultures differently. He is the worker still. He's the surgeon. It's the person that he's the ice king. It's the person that puts emotion aside. I think the advice here from Spirit is, again, to be about our business, put emotion aside and do our work. King of Swords, as an archetype in the African Yoruba tradition, we would call this Ogun. I know some of you study the African traditions. I'm a huge, I'm just completely enamored with the Yoruba since I was in college, getting my anthropology degree, actually. Thank you very much, Ima. Ima, is that Ima? Oh, Irma, I thought you said Ima when I was reading it sideways, which means mother in Hebrew. And thank you, Penny. It's so kind. So we're entering into a period of logic. It's cold. What do we got to do to fix it? Okay, life sucks. How do I fix it? How did I screw up? It's not an emotional card. Thank you, Ange. You guys are very sweet. Thank you. Look at this. COVID, anger, frustration, emotion around us. I think it's because of everything that's going on with the political situation. So a lot of us are going through this emotion spinning round and round and round. Calm yourself. Be about your business. All you have control over is what's in front of you. Do your work to the best of your ability. Help when you can. Know your ethics and live by them. You know, it's interesting. It makes me think about former relationships I've had where, when I would put, not so much now, but when I was younger. Now I have enough insight where I used to always be annoyed at whoever I was dating because they were not living up to whatever fantasies I had about them. It was a very helpless way to view the world. But now that I'm an adult, I really take this seriously, the Queen of Wands in the third house. What are my values? What are my ethics? What kind of friend am I? Am I returning phone calls? Am I getting back to people? Am I giving to the charities I believe in? Am I voting? Am I trying to minimize waste in my home? The business of being about one's business is a full-time job. We affect change in others because they look at us and they see we have our act together and it inspires them to want to do the same thing. Hi, Ona. You're doing a great job, Ona. Hopes and fears being about the business, right? The Queen of Pentacles, the final outcome, the Knight of Cups. In plainer words, what's happening to the group is that we are really trying to get control over our own lives, over our own business, over our contribution to fixing the world. In Hebrew, it's tikkun olam, the fixing of the world. So there's this Jewish idea that God set up a beautiful play area with paints and, she's like the kindergarten teacher, right? She sets up a beautiful classroom with all these beautiful things, and then she says, "Okay, finish the work. I did part of it, but your job is to complete the work. Do your part to complete the work." So everybody has to do a little bit to create the mosaic, and we can't live anybody else's life. We can't. So sitting around waiting, who's going to replace RBG? What are we going to do to ensure that our planet is a beautiful planet? Because the truth of the matter is, if we stop buying crap, it will no longer be. It'll no longer be to the benefit. If we stop using these products, don't underestimate your personal power. I think is also the takeaway. Knight of Cups is the ability to receive an offer. It's a romantic card also. It's the ability to attract a suitor if we're interested in somebody romantically, or if we're looking at putting ourselves out there romantically. It could be that by making ourselves part of the world a little bit, putting ourselves out there a little bit, we make ourselves also available to romantic situations. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, John. It's very kind of you. So I think a lot of us, this has come up in the past, a lot of us are going to be headed towards rocky situations. Be very careful about who you're attracting romantically. Those of you who are dating, you don't want to have disruption. So being about our business, taking care of ourselves, working on making sure our house is in order. We just got to change the channel. I mean, the angle. But what was a little bit different there was it was talking a lot about this idea of confronting our own learned helplessness, which I think is really something that we always keep, I know what it is to always keep thinking that the answer is out there, that, so I think that was the meaning of the reading. All right, we're going to start our blitzes. Does anybody have any questions about that? Somebody had a question about donations. Somebody had a question about the Deutsche Bank. I don't know. So questions about the donations. Usually most of the money comes from people watching the commercials. And then at the end of the month, we all talk about where we want the money to go. So that's pretty much how it works. So people had asked me if I would do some throws. We're going to start the blitzes now. And the first blitz is going to be on RBG. And if she's going to be replaced, who's going to replace her? We're just going to do a general throw on RBG, passing, and if there's any information. Happy Sunday, everyone. Right, Tammy, you're getting it. You are about your business. So you know what's happening now? Industry is starting to realize that they can't market certain things to us anymore because we're no longer buying it. We're no longer buying the large house that's not environmentally feasible, takes up too much space, and is too much work. All right. RBG. These are passing, you can see. She's the Queen of Wands, the perfect judge, a who beats. She really is that archetype. And you can see the Hanged Man coming in. You know, it's interesting when you go into the energy as a remote viewer, a heart-centered remote viewer, what I see is I see RBG and her long history of being a mentor. That people admired her work ethic, her values, and there is this feeling that there are many RBGs. There are many people. A single life can touch the life of a million people, millions of people. And when we are fighting the good fight and when we are doing what we are supposed to be doing in the world, we can touch the lives of millions of people and also influence millions of people. And so what I see when I go into RBG's energy kind of reminds me of what I'm learning about mycelium. I'm studying the mushroom medicines now, that they create this network that can be hundreds of miles long. Like we have mycelium networks in Washington State. The mushrooms grow underground that are 300 miles long. So that's kind of the imagery I think about when I think about RBG, was that she had so many networks. She had so many people that Once she became the master and went about her business, she began to attract certain people that had faith in her. She began to mentor, and then those people began to mentor people, and then those people began to mentor people. And that is the legacy of RBG. She was about her business. The joke her husband used to make was, stay out of the kitchen, I'll cook. Because it took so much time and so much energy to be about her business, she really didn't have any other talents. Like, she couldn't cook, she couldn't clean. She was just very single-minded. But the impact, the people that she impacted is tremendous. She did feel to some extent that she was fighting against things that she would call them unhealthy relationships, toxic relationships or unhealthy relationships. You can see her first house is the devil card, or chain to unhealthy relationships, and what crosses at the 4 of Wands. So this is somebody who had an understanding or felt that to some extent, she wouldn't call it evil so much as unhealthy. That she felt that the dynamics that were set up were unhealthy. No, I don't think that Donald Trump is going to put somebody on the Supreme Court. I think that this is her in relationship to the question. I think that her perception was in dealing with this was that it was an unhealthy or toxic relationship. Devil is associated with Donald Trump's card, and then the Page of Pentacles moving in, which is the offer here and here. But you can see here the 8th house, the other, her opposition trying to bring somebody in, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that Trump leaves. You can see here. I think that not only that, but when you focus in as a remote viewer to this energy, he leaves humiliated. Which, if you read the book by Mary Trump, it's the one thing that he doesn't want. He doesn't want somebody dumping mashed potatoes over his head, right? It's one of the things that happened. His brother gets annoyed with him and dumps mashed potatoes over his head, and everybody laughs at him. So that's the fear. I'm a loser. And that's probably how this story will end. There's another woman on the bench, and it looks like whoever that person is was possibly she was mentored or had a personal relationship with RBG. Very compassionate woman, too, presents as the Queen of Hearts. Princess Diana's code. As Lena Rodriguez says, she and I both actually think that that's kind of like a Princess Diana card. All right. So that is RBG. I don't see a Republican getting in. I think a Democratic female is going to get in. I could be completely wrong. I always put it out there, and then if I screw up, I screw up. But I always like to be very precise in my predictions, and then it's cool when I get it right. But it looks energetically like Trump is going to be out, that he's going to leave in humiliation. I always thought that he could leave before the vote, because I think that he was, look, sticking around for the vote and being slaughtered is very embarrassing to him. So who knows? But it would be unlikely, given the current political situation. They've got something like 6 senators on thin ice this re-election. They're really on thin ice. Even Lindsey Graham is on thin ice. It would be very stupid for them to do this. But if they do it, it'll only make the Democrats stronger, and we'll just stack the courts. All right. Now we're going to look at the future of Brett Kavanaugh. Somebody had wanted me to take a look at that, so we're going to look at Brett Kavanaugh. The future of Brett Kavanaugh. You know, I had a message about romance last night, too, for the group, for those of you who are looking for love and romance. It's interesting, the energy of that. Do your homework and take the time to really get to know people. Slow is better, to really take your time getting to know each other. Be very careful about entering into romantic relationships in the coming months that disrupt the harmony of your home. That's kind of a warning for everybody. But if you want marriage, if you want to settle down, you want to get married, if you want to find the energy that I got when I went into that meditation is it advises people not to just go about and just hope it'll happen. That's actually not going to get you the person of your dreams. It's more the energy of RBG, be about your business, which means that find out what your values, your ethics are, create a life for yourself that reflects those values, and then put an effort into being in environments where you can find someone that shares those values. So it's actually saying put an effort in. But again, it starts with us. All right, so these are Kavanaugh's cards. They actually look pretty good. He has an Ace of Swords as his base, which is victory, and then there's a confirmation or contract here. He became even more of a scholar after he got on. I know that he was one of the people that wanted to be mentored by RBG, and actually RBG developed quite a relationship with him. There's this natural, I've heard that there's this natural organic relationship that happens when somebody new comes on the bench, that they look for a mentor, and it's just whoever you feel connected with. But for whatever reason, Brett Kavanaugh was drawn to RBG, and she became something of a mentor for him. But what's interesting is that he emerges with the first house of the Hermit card, which is scholarship, seeking the light. He has an Ace of Swords as his base and a Three of Pentacles, which is actually an opportunity for new contracts, possibly writing, assisting in writing legal theory on some books, documents, etc. He's going to be involved in not only making certain decisions, but writing on them. I think his wife could leave him in his personal life. There's possibly a relationship challenge, something about leaving the broken man, being exiled. His professional career is fine. What I'm seeing here is that his personal life is a mess. New beginnings. It's his personal life. Look at this. I think his wife is contemplating divorce. I think that it's a very bad situation. I think that potentially his wife could be done with him. There's also a possibility that she suspects an affair or other women. The Queen of Pentacles, another woman. Look at this. This is not about his business. This is about an affair or other women. And him. He could mature into being a not so horrific judge. This is about, he's trying to smooth or heal. He's trying to save his marriage. Look at this. Because of another woman. Look at this. Yeah, I think it's, boy, that girl, I feel bad for her. It's like beaten down and doormat, walks out of the marriage. And, this is the guy who realizes he made mistakes a little too late. That is Kavanaugh. But no, I don't see him being removed. I do see him changing politically to become a little bit more in the middle. And his personal life is a disaster. All right, so the release of fin files from the banks. Now, here I had to take a look at this. I had to read the BuzzFeed article for this next Blitz, and it has to do with the fact that they've now, remember when I talked about the fact that the real investigation was following the money? I've talked about this ad nauseum, and we've talked about the fact that it was trade rats and blah, 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 blah. And that the real investigation was not the Mueller report, blah, blah, blah. If you've been watching the channel for 3 years, you've heard it until you have a headache. So now it's coming out that it wasn't that Deutsche Bank didn't know what was going on. It's that they were complicit in helping to launder money. Also, money was stolen from people's accounts, and it was transferred. It was stolen, and it basically destroyed small businesses, and it was laundered and put into other accounts. So that is the expose. And of course, a lot of people have borrowed from them, many of them who are bigwigs in the Republican Party, Trump, his kids, etc. So we're going to look at what's going to happen as a result of stuff coming out about Deutsche Bank. Bank of America was the one that reported them, which is kind of interesting. Somebody's leaving Germany. One of the bigwigs is actually fleeing the country. I see somebody actually fleeing. There's a defense card and healing a situation. Very defensive. People are going to be cornered. People in positions of power are going to be are going to be questioned, and it's very likely that somebody could flee the situation. This bank is going to get taken over, possibly by government. It looks like a government and is coming in and taking over this bank. Look at this. Somebody is out of there. Somebody's out of there, and it looks like Interpol or some kind of police activity or something happens where they're going over everything with a fine-tooth comb. You can see an ace of swords moving in. Somebody is out of there. Look at this. Somebody flees, probably the head of the bank. Somebody acts stupid, like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. And when they get closer and closer and closer, this person attempts to flee. And it has to do with alliances or relationships. You can see the Two of Wands there, the hope and the fear, and then the final outcome. This feels to me like a sweep. Like the German government goes in, like the international courts go in, and this becomes an international issue because people were defrauded internationally. Money was stolen internationally, and sometimes out of other banks, which I imagine is why Bank of America was one of the people that got, one of the banks that got involved. They're going to have to pay more restitution. And their future relationship with the people they had partnered with is in serious jeopardy. This is bad. This is starting to look almost like The Hague. Like, damn, look at this. Look at the sword. Look at the world coming after. They are in so much trouble. Dang, the ethos of the world coming in, Ace of Swords, they're screwed. They're in a lot of trouble. They're in so much trouble, Deutsche Bank, that I see them going in with a fine. They're going to do like it's like a post-mortem, basically. They're called like post-mortems, where they go in and they rip through every single document. People are going to jail. People are just handing stuff over, and they're going to be they're going to be international trials. They're in so much trouble. Ouch. Well, that must have cheered everybody up. All right. Prince Andrew. People hadn't heard a lot about that. And what is her name? Ghislaine Maxwell? Ghislaine. What's going on with that? Is there any truth to Q? All that stuff. Let's just go ahead and throw on the criminal investigation with Ghislaine Maxwell and Prince Andrew and find out if anything more is going to come of that. This is Prince Andrew, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and that whole sordid cast of characters. I kind of want to keep going, and we're going to lose power, so I'm going to go and get the plug so that we don't get knocked out, and we can go past an hour if everybody likes. I had to plug that in because we've only got a little bit of power, and I'm feeling like I want to keep going. I just want to keep going. Okay. See, I'm warming up now, so I don't want to stop. I thought, oh, it'll be an hour. I'll just stay an hour. But the cards are so good. Can't stop. All right. What do you guys think? Prince Andrew, he's going down. Woo! I just love what I do. I love what I do. See, I'm about my business. That's my life. Oh, God, I'm afraid to look at this. Oh, boy. Remember when we kept talking about the British are coming and about how British were sharing intelligence? I think that all of this was part of that. There's so many investigations and so much information that's shared between the United States and Britain about people that were blackmailed, about people with money coming from questionable sources. I remember when I did a remote viewing on Ghislaine Maxwell. Remember when she came in, she said she was the one that had betrayed Epstein. She had handed over information, thank you, Jim, that feds would use to arrest Epstein. She assured him that it was not going to go badly, and you can just get on the plane and you can surrender, and we're going to work out a deal. Then it came out that Ghislaine Maxwell does have a home in France. So what happened was Epstein was flying back from France, and then he was arrested when his plane landed. So he was angry that what Ghislaine Maxwell told him was going to happen didn't happen. That's how it looked in the remote. So Ghislaine Maxwell thought she was safe because she was the one that had helped with Epstein's arrest. Hey, I betrayed Epstein, so I'm gravy. And so now what's happening in these investigations, the final phase for the FBI and the intelligence agencies, is that they are now beginning to arrest the informants. because a lot of informants were under the false impression that if they cooperated or helped nab certain people, that they were going to be protected by the feds. But that's not what happened. The feds got the people that they wanted, like Epstein, and then turned around and found ways to charge informants. And so what we're now seeing is all the informants being arrested, the informants being charged, because when you do an investigation, if you're talking about Robert Mueller and some of the investigations that he's done, you start with the Papadopouloses, the small people. They give you information, then you work your way up until the informants, you arrest the people, and then you get to the informants. So then they got to the informants. And my first impression is that there's just continuing information between the US, Interpol, Britain, etc. I can't help but feel like Ghislaine Maxwell was a little bit naive, because she keeps saying in this remote, like, you promised, a feeling that, and nobody's listening. She thought that she had legal protection because Epstein's people were not going to be charged. In the grave, death is right over Ghislaine Maxwell. She's such a dark personality. I mean, just what a mess. I think she thinks this is all, the world she lives in, powerful men. This is somebody who thinks everybody does it, and that this is all just BS. She lost some of her representation. She's going to be losing lawyers, or she's going to have additional legal problems. Look at this. Because, man, she's a mess. She's not talking. She can't get legal representation. I'm not seeing Andrew here. There could be a prisoner. She could be sent over to Europe or something. There's an Ace of Swords here, many choices. She's not talking. I don't know about suicide, but there's something about death here, addiction. Possibly she had an addiction, not just a sex addiction, but another addiction that she couldn't get access to while she was in prison, because there's talking a lot here about some type of an addiction challenge. And rocky waters, there's something here about she loses her lawyer. She may lose her lawyer. Andrew's on a deserted island, I think. I'm not getting anything on him. Well, Trump was North Star. Trump took money out of Deutsche Bank, and the investigation was where the money was coming. They were following the money. So Trump was one of the recipients. The Trump family was one of the recipients. So that's right. God, Andrew. Prince Andrew, talk about a guy who's going to have to live under a rock for the rest of his life. Okay. Next thing is people wanted me to get into William Barr, what he's up to, how's his health, when's he leaving. Let's look at William Barr. Isn't this fun? I could be here all day. Question about Mossad. Mossad is Israel basically offers like an international security. They get asked to come in and do security. They do cybersecurity. Has anybody seen the new Pope? It's excellent. And it stars one of my favorite Israeli actors. And he's so funny as a Mossad agent, if you haven't seen the new Pope, because he sits and he's always vaping. The character is always like vaping, and it's just very funny. Anybody seen the new Pope? And he's been hired by the Vatican. He's an Israeli Mossad agent who's been hired by the Vatican to oversee security, and it's just very funny. Okay, William Barr. The new Pope. Sexy, very sexy. Yeah, that Israeli actor. I'm looking for a guy that looks like that guy. I would totally go out with him, but he's like happily married. But yeah, totally cute. William Barr. This always feels the same way, like he was brought in temporarily to help calm the storm of this administration, to get pressure off of the investigation, to assist this president who is being attacked by the left. He's floundering, and his job was to come in and get this boat upright and to help this administration. This is his version. People always think it's my version, and then I get a dislike. I'm just reading cards. I'll show you what I'm seeing here with Barr. You can see here 10 of Cups, which is a family card, and Death. So Death is where he's at right now. It's the Karma card. So there's a transformation where he's at right now, 10 of Cups. He's not in a bad situation, but there's a feeling in these cards regarding Barr that this is temporary and it's coming to an end. Like he was brought in to do the work, dealing with whatever was going on. But you can see 7 of Cups, complete confusion. His job was to iron things out. I see him leaving. You can see 5 of Pentacles where he's at. Hopes and fears. He's worried that he's going to leave and certain things are not going to get taken care of. Like he wants to finish what he started at the Justice Department before he leaves. In his world, this is his world we're in, he wants to complete the work. The final outcome is that he's about to release some information, the High Priestess. It might be the Durham report, and then he leaves. So he's probably going to be there a few more months. I don't see him being part of the new administration. You can see he's got a Knight of Wands, which is the card of travel, to be out of there. He wants to finish his work, finish what he's doing with the Justice Department, and then it's like the semester's over, kind of a feeling. Like he did all of his work, the information came out, he moves on. Yeah, it's like the Republicans were complaining about the disorganization and the crazy and this, that, and the other, and they thought this guy would come in and he would right the boat, and he did a lot of what they asked him to do, which was to stop all the, it's crazy, we can't get our work done. That was why he was brought in. Yeah, the new Pope, the TV show on HBO. Really cute Israeli actor, plays a Mossad agent. He's really funny. He never hurts anyone. He just threatens to hurt people. In 7 seconds, I'm going to do something, but I won't tell you what it is. Jude Law is very yummy. Mm-hmm. Where's Jude Law? You'll be happy to know I saw Jude Law. Now, in your wildest dreams, where would you want to see a brilliant actor like Jude Law? Saw him in a vegan restaurant. Is that not righteous? And he was sitting with another actor, and they were having a vegan lunch. And I guess they were shooting the new Pope because it was not too far from the studios. But you know what? He put on his regular clothes, but he kept his Pope socks on. The Pope has these thick white socks with the Pope emblem. And he must have just put on some shoes and let's go grab something, a vegan thing. And so I'm sitting there eating my Dragon Bowl or whatever I was eating, and I was like, staring at his socks. Those look like $1,000. I've never seen socks like that before. I was just like staring at his socks. And he was just like eating his salad. All right. So we finished with William Barr. Now we're going to talk about food scarcity and the coming recession and what people can do to protect themselves financially. I had a lot of questions about this. So let's take a look. The economy going forward and how we can protect ourselves. No, I don't see food scarcity. I think that what's starting to happen is the same thing that's happening in other countries where we're starting to grow indoor and we're changing the way they're doing, like building growing to protect. We're adapting. Basically, we're adapting. You can see here our base of the matter walking away from things have changed. But we have a nice Queen of Pentacles moving in. So the business has changed. The judgment is being made. I think that this administration and the decision and things that happened because of this president, I think regulation came in. You can see a judgment. This is like the Bloombergs, the people in positions of power. Something happens or is happening that comes in. It's almost like the banks and there are things going on with the stock market, with the banks, etc., that have people who are in the financial world scared of this president and his administration's policies. You can see here, this is my card for Archangel Michael, who goes to war with the devil and wins. He always carries the sword of truth. And then the judgment made against Trump, hanging him up. You can see a hanged man here moving in with Archangel Michael because of grief. Sitting in international. This can be an international card waiting for their ship to come in. This is I assume the financial world, leaving a situation of poverty. It also can be an exile card. What is around us, the Four of Wands. It almost feels like this beautiful romantic energy comes in that kind of shifts us in a new direction, but you can see it's over. The gap stop, Knight of Pentacles. See new work. The old ways are gone. Look, it's a transition. This is a major economic transition. Look at these money cards. The old jobs are over, but there are new jobs on the horizon. And the new companies will train. People are worried about training. Our money, our investments, what this country is going to be investing in is green companies that hire and train people. The old ways are gone. Look at this. It's over. So this goes back to what we have said in the past. No, there's not going to be food scarcity. But there is going to be huge changes in how we do business in this country. And if your investments are not green investments, you'll probably lose them. So it's advice. I took everything and put it into green mutual funds, and because I don't think like the steer industry and the oil industry, I think it's a bad investment to be honest with you. Not just bad for the environment. Okay, the fires in California, and I think, well, we've already, do we want to do the fires in California? People had asked about Julian Assange, the future of New York, healthcare for all, and the future of America. Well, I think we already did the future of America. I think we're going to be like Norway. I think we're just moving towards a simpler, more supportive way of life. Okay, we're going to do one more. We'll do one more throw. Well, Norway takes care of its citizens. Everybody has enough. You don't need to be rich. There's this feeling coming over the United States where the greed of the 80s, everybody had to have, everybody was just greed, greed, greed. That's just not where we're headed. This is about a happy, peaceful, simple life that's artistic and creative, and a time of spawning new ideas. Your son-in-law? Yeah, Tammy, that it's like the meat industry. We can now grow a turkey leg in a laboratory from stem cells. You take the stem cells from a fertilized turkey egg. Probably wouldn't even kill the turkey if you did it right. And then you can take those stem cells and you can grow a beautiful, perfect turkey leg, theoretically, right? So why have factory farms? If you can grow a turkey leg from a stem cell, you see where we're going? So that's why I think in 5 to 10 years, it's obsolete. If you can grow meat, why kill an animal? So we now can grow meat, we can grow everything. And so I just think it doesn't mean you have to give up meat. It's just we're going to be producing meat differently. But to be honest with you, I think the plant-based stuff is almost tastes exactly the same. In another 5 years, it will taste the same. It just becomes obsolete. Thank you, RN. All right, we're going to go ahead and close. We'll just do one on Biden and then we'll close for the day because that'll cover everything. Yeah, it's not viable. It's not, you can grow meat on a mountain with no issue and completely sustainable. No, because the methane gas makes it not sustainable. You have to use it, and the hardest thing that we're struggling with is how to treat the methane gas that's coming from livestock. But if you grow it in a petri dish, there is no methane. You can still enjoy your turkey leg. It tastes good, but it doesn't actually come from. Nobody gets hurt. Bison, sheep, cattle, sure, you can grow that too. With hot sauce, everything tastes good. What's not true? Stem cells, yes, they get them from a fertilized turkey egg. Salome, you're wrong, and that is fake science. Sorry. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the future of Biden. And then we'll be done for the day. It is cloning. And every chicken leg will be exactly the same. It will look exactly the same. No, Salome, my information is not outdated. Okay. You know, the first thing that you get when you go into the energy on Joe Biden is that this is somebody who really thinks before he acts. You know, the 11th house is the Four of Swords. It's a meditation card. There's also a healing card there, which is the card I call Hermes, the messenger of health and healing. Where he is at right now feels tied in knots. Remember when I talked about the 19th? I think that it feels like he has to completely rearrange his campaign. The blow that I feel to his campaign is they have to adjust some aspects of this campaign. He got a windfall, by the way. That must be money coming in from people, from Bloomberg and other people. Also ads, support for ads, etc. He's in a good place financially in terms of support. You can see many offers. He's doing the work. It also can be moving from one home to a new home. You can see the other home, packing up, moving, hauling to a new home. That's how I read that card. And here, the move, the Chariot. This guy is not a gossip. This is somebody who does not like speaking ill of others. Yeah, he gets the work. I think he's going to win. Maybe the blow to Biden that we saw, maybe that all of that had to do with the courts. He had a very special relationship with RBG. Wasn't he one of the people that conferred her, if I'm not mistaken? Wow, that's pretty impressive. All right, love and light to everybody. Thanks for watching. Yes, methane is still a problem. There are legitimate scientists out there looking for ways to remove the methane. But we've got too much poop, too much animal poop. That's the problem. Love and light to everybody. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can go to Tarot with Whimsy. Take time to enjoy your day. Let us be about our business, the business of making the world a better place. And hopefully you can share it with the world. Be well, everybody. If you're trying to get in for a doctor's appointment, you can go to drwhimsy.com. Those are telemedicine. If you have questions about the medicinal herbs, yes, when you make an appointment for a reading, or if you make an appointment to see me as a doctor, I do make medicines for people. So you can ask about that when we speak. Love and light, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the gratitude. We didn't end with gratitude today, but